Catch-up Club is one of the interventions under Save the Children global campaign codenamed Safe Back to School. It's a global campaign aimed at addressing the learning loss because children have stayed long from home, and there are a number of issues that have risen that has affected children as a result of COVID-19. Catch-up Club is a low-cost intervention that addresses learning loss in a way that it's community-based. It starts by mobilizing the community members who appreciate that their children have stayed long and therefore agree and identify a community learning facilitator. And Save the Children trains the community learning facilitators who then facilitate the learning sessions of children in the Catch-up Club. Each level has 12 children per one facilitator, who is the community learning facilitator. From there, the sessions run for 3 weeks initially. After the 3 weeks, there is a break. In between this break, the CLF assesses these children to see whether they have made progress from the interventions that has been given. So the structure in management of catch-up clubs includes: one, you have the CLF who facilitates the learning. Then you have a mentor or a senior CLF or a community learning facilitator. This person's role is to ensure that, one, he mentors the community learning facilitators through support supervision, but also builds on their capacity where there are gaps identified. Two, ensures that the children's attendance is tracked in these clubs so that they are easily followed up. Those who miss, then that is an inclusion concern that we need to address quickly. Why is this child missing? Why are they absenting themselves? But within the CLF, there's also one person who has a special focus on inclusion, and that is called community learning and inclusion facilitator. The person's role is to basically track issues of child protection and inclusion concerns of these learners. So period in, period out, day in, day out, the session runs for 5 days in a week for only 2 hours so that they go back and continue with their usual normal life at home.
When COVID containment was issued in the country, the worst hit were the rural poor or peri-urban poor people. And so chances are high that majority of them, of their children, will not get back to school. We thought it wise in this project, the Catch-up Club, that we put in incentives to break the economic barriers that will hinder parents sending back children to school. So we blanketly designed that we shall give about $20 per child who will return back to school for 2 periods. That is the first tranche and the second tranche. So everyone went on spending, getting the most basics that they required at that time. We are yet to make the final assessment of this after the second tranche that we will give them. And then we shall be able to tell what has really happened.
Correct.
One of the biggest barriers to education is the economic capacity of the households. And once that one is broken, you ensure that children are there in school. So it must be one of the most impactful interventions we can create.
The implementation of the catch-up clubs, especially responding to the children's concerns and needs, was hugely affected due to the lockdown. But a solution was found very quickly when the lockdown was lifted. All project coordinators were brought on board, including myself, to come and respond quickly, and therefore we came in to do a lot of identifying of the vulnerable children, case workers, training the case workers on child safeguarding and also child protection. The catch-up clubs have been able to link the schools and the community-based child protection structures. And we are looking at the child getting direct support. They can report the cases that are happening to them. They can report their anxieties. Mental health and psychosocial support programs are being directly given to them through the short parades once a week, hence addressing the needs of the child, and that I think is a very good thing. The model should be scaled up on the basis of 3 or 4 principles. One of the first principles should be system integration. System is not looking at just rolling it down to the children and the school community, but bringing on board all stakeholders. The second principle I look at is equity in terms of inclusion and gender perspective. All girls, all boys, the vulnerable, those that are struggling with the learning, and if it continues like that and there is no bias, then that will also be key. The third one has a lot to do with focusing on sustainability. Catch-up Club is touching the soul of the child. It is looking at supporting the well-being of the child from different aspects. The family livelihoods, the child's education, and the child's protection. Those are the cardinal rights of the children, and lots of children can directly benefit from the project.
The biggest challenge has been, first and foremost, the community attitude and buy-in. A number of communities thought that schools were closed and learning was closed. So it has been a new way of educating them that yes, schools are closed, but learning continues, and there are models which can make that happen. Through this catch-up there, although it is in the early days, but we already see a number of children, first and foremost, getting back with the interest on learning, and their level of comprehension is really getting high through this approach. The primary focus we are doing now is to ensure that we document and we make as many people as possible know this model and appreciate it. We are going to hold dialogues with the government, especially for buy-in, to ensure that learning is supported at scale. I would recommend the community catch-up model, first because it is cost-effective, because you are working with the community volunteers and facilitators. Secondly, you are building local skills and capacity of the community members to facilitate learning continuity even when schools are closed. Pasa, pasa, pasa.